Did you know that there was a Lord of the Rings game that tried to be Final Fantasy X with turn-based combat, cinematic cutscenes, and epic battles, but somehow ended up being one of the most hollow RPGs I ever played? I gave it 10 hours. That was more than enough. I wanted to love it. I really did, but I could not. Welcome to the review of The Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, 2004 RPG from EA Games that attempted to blend Tolkien's world with Japanese-style RPG mechanics. On paper, this sounds incredible. A turn-based adventure set in Middle-earth, with your own fellowship carving a path parallel to Frodo's journey. This was the main reason that I started to play it. I'm not considering myself a huge fan of Lord of the Rings, but an RPG set in this world was a very different story and setting from the usual RPGs that I play, so I was started to play it with high hopes. But, as I'll explain, beneath its atmospheric visuals and familiar soundtracks lies an RPG that feels more like a conveyor belt than a journey, and nowhere near the level of quality it tried to mimic. The Third Age was EA's clear attempt to recreate the success of Final Fantasy X. The combat system is almost identical, with turn order icons, character swapping mid-fight, and even overdrive-style special attacks. You got a brooding warrior, a healer elf, a dwarf tank, a sword-swinging rogue. The typical old-school RPG characters are all here. But where Final Fantasy X delivered emotional storytelling, world-building, and character interaction, the Third Age gives you none of that. There are no real towns to explore, no shops, no NPCs to chat with. You don't make decisions, and you don't even really talk to your teammates outside the occasional cutscenes. The depth of connection to characters to the world is just not there. And it sometimes could work. There are old school RPGs where these are not exist, but there are other aspects which makes the game still enjoyable. For example, a very good story or a world which you can explore, you have some kind of freedom. One of my biggest gripes was just how absurdly linear the game is. You're not exploring Middle-earth, you're walking down a tunnel. A literal tunnel. Just look at it. There's no freedom, no branching paths, and no sense of wonder. I like visiting towns, checking out shop inventories, chatting with NPCs, the lifeblood of a good RPG. In this game, you just find gear in chests along the way. That's it. And that still could work, but that gear progression loses meaning fast because you level up so quickly. I remember I hit level 20 and I was maybe into 10% into the game. That's a huge red flag in terms of balance. It started to feel meaningless. And even higher levels my character stats felt somehow off. Despite high accuracy points, there were just too many mishits at combat, which started to really annoy me. To its credit, the combat system is functional. It's turn-based, strategic, and even lets you customize skill paths. There are good abilities to unlock, but these could not save the emptiness of the game. I appreciated that character appearances change as you equip better gear, a small detail but a nice touch. But it's not all good news. The encounter rate is extremely high. You barely walk 10 steps without being dragged into a battle. And once you are in combat, the enemy variety is depressingly low. Fighting goblins in a temple? That's your entire experience. Occasionally a troll drops in for variety, but it's rare. I don't need a Dragon Quest-like enemy variety, but here I felt that I kept fighting the same enemies over and over. Okay, let's say that the whole dungeon has been occupied by an army of orcs or goblins. Yes, that is realistic and a possibility, but a random spider or anything could make a huge difference in the variety. You start to feel like you're just grinding. Fight, walk 10 steps, fight, walk 10 more steps, fight again. I keep saying that I hate mindless grinding. I do not mind if here and there I had to grind a bit to level up my party before a boss fight or to earn gold for better gear, but here the grinding is bad, and a typical one that I hate. Visually, the Third Age holds up surprisingly well. The environments looks nice, and the lighting and effects do capture that Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings film atmosphere. But after a few hours, the style wears thin, because the world itself feels so empty. You're not part of the world, you're not shaping it, you're not even interacting with it. You're just watching it happen, like riding a Middle-earth themed amusement park ride on rails. Sorry, but this is the best way to describe my experience. Okay, there are some dungeons where you can go different ways, but the exploration is not really rewarding, except to find some gear in treasure boxes, which I know that is a reward, but I meant the reward on the exploration itself. what made the game even emptier for me is the lack of connection between party members and how I felt towards them. The party members are barely talk. There's no party banter, no backstories fleshed out mid-journey, no relationships developing over time, just necessary conversations in cutscenes to advance the story. I not had a favorite character, did not develop any connection to any of them, I just used them by their skills and abilities. That hollowness is what ultimately pushed me to stop playing. One strange design choice I want to mention is the epic scenes. These are cinematic clips from the actual Peter Jackson films that you unlock as rewards. Now, in theory, it sounds cool, revisiting key movie moments, but in practice it feels unnecessary. These aren't remade in the game engine or cleverly integrated into your journey. Instead, sometimes a pop-up window just comes up, here, have a movie clip, watch it if you want. I watched the first few from the 100 ones, but after a while, I stopped watching them. They added nothing. If anything, it reminded me how much more compelling the actual films are and how disconnected the third age feels from the same emotional depth. These moments should be integrated into the story progression, not treating like collectible parts of a DVD movie. So, after about 10 hours, I realized I wasn't having fun. I didn't care about the characters, I wasn't excited to reach new areas, I wasn't curious about what was next, because I already knew. It would be another narrow corridor, another batch of identical enemies, another shallow level up. If in 10 hours the game is not going to open up, it never will. I love Lord of the Rings, I love turn-based RPGs, but it just didn't deliver either experience in a satisfying way for me. In fact, it made Middle-earth feel like a grey, repetitive slog. And to be honest, it is a shame, as I really wanted to love it, and this could be a great game. So, should you play Lord of the Rings The Third Age? If you're a die-hard Lord of the Rings fan who is okay with extremely linear gameplay and wants a cinematic, combat-heavy RPG, maybe. But for most RPG players, this is one journey that's probably not worth taking. EA tried to turn Tolkien's world into a Final Fantasy X clone, but without the emotional depth, great characters, or rewarding exploration, it ends up feeling like a missed opportunity. I really wanted to love this game, but instead I walked away feeling nothing at all. And that might be the worst outcome of all for a game based on one of the richest fantasy worlds ever created. And what about you? If you've played The Third Age, I'd love to hear your experience. Drop a comment below and let's talk RPGs. I hope that you enjoyed this time travel back to the golden era of gaming. If you enjoyed digging up forgotten classics or disasters, I got plenty more where this came from, so join our community by subscribing. Also, the YouTube algorithm shows some videos for you, it is on the screen now, check them out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next Backlog Quest video.